Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Ethereum is flashing a new signal that we need to pay attention to, while Bitcoin is potentially repeating history, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a quick update here on the daily Bitcoin chart, and over the last one day, not a lot has changed on this chart right here, because as of right now, we've still seen that break to the downside in the price below this ascending line of support, same within the Bitcoin RSI. And of course, if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, as of right now, this has recently crossed in the bearish direction, showing some more bearish momentum beginning to build up here on the daily time frame. And so once again, as I've explained in my last 1 to 2 videos, these are signals pointing towards the reversal in the shorter term if you're talking about these short-term trends. Of course, over the last few weeks, since around the middle of September, the Bitcoin price has been trending to the upside, but we now have multiple signals pointing towards a potential short-term trend reversal, pointing towards a reversal from this short-term bullish trend or short-term bullish relief into potentially a little bit more of a bearish trend over the next 1 to 2 weeks, for example. And what's very interesting is this is not the first time we have seen something similar to this happen, because if you stay on the daily Bitcoin chart, looking at the volume profile indicator, as I've also mentioned in recent videos here on the channel and all the way back up here when the price was actually running into this resistance, we do have a major resistance sitting in between around 27.9k to 28.2k. And this resistance is based on a few different things. First of all, the volume profile indicator showing a lot of traded volume around that price range, a lot of selling pressure in that price range. And on top of that, we can see in the past multiple rejections around that same price range as well in the price of Bitcoin. For example, back here towards the end of May and also back here towards the end of August, we saw perfect rejections from this same area of resistance. And if you simply look at the last 2 times this has happened, where we have seen a rejection in the price of Bitcoin from that area of resistance, like what we've seen just recently, we ultimately ended up seeing the price of Bitcoin actually return all the way back down towards this massive area of support here in the volume profile indicator. And in case you're wondering, this area of support based on the volume profile indicator is sitting in between around 24.4k to 25k approximately. And so once again, simply based on history, based on these last 2 times where we saw major rejections from this same area of resistance where we just rejected from again, these last 2 times we simply saw a pullback all the way down towards around 25k approximately. And now obviously, just because it happened the last 2 times, it is not a 100% guarantee that it's going to happen again a 3rd time, but it is worth pointing out that we have seen this twice so far this year, and it's possible it could continue to play out here in the 3rd example, because obviously we have already seen the initial rejection from this same area of resistance. But obviously between now and those much lower prices, there are other levels of short-term support that we need to pay attention to, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But first, zooming into this 6-hour Bitcoin chart, taking a look at this previous symmetrical triangle pattern. And obviously, if you've been watching my videos over the last few days, you would already know about this pattern and the bearish price target sitting at around 26.4k approximately. And obviously, as of right now, the price of Bitcoin has gotten within around $100 of that technical price target. So technically speaking, we have not hit the exact price target, at least not yet. But personally, with taking this short position to the downside towards this technical price target, as I mentioned in my last video on the channel, I've already closed a lot of that short position, and that's simply because the price of Bitcoin obviously got very close to the technical price target, so $100 really won't make that much difference. And on top of that, obviously we have already seen our fair share of bearish price action over the last few days, and if you're looking at the short-term Bitcoin RSI here on the 6-hour time frame, just recently around 1 day ago, this just entered into oversold territories, as I also mentioned in my last video on the channel. And so once again, as I mentioned yesterday, this means we have somewhat limited room to the downside, at least in the short term, which means we're due to see either some choppy sideways price action, if not a bit of a bounce in the short term, just talking about the next 1 to 2 days, for example. And obviously over the last 1 day, this has begun to play out as expected, just a bit of a sideways consolidation to help reset the RSI here on the 6-hour time frame. But it is important to understand that just because the RSI entered into oversold territories closes, that does not guarantee that the low is in and we're about to flip much more bullish again. Because, for example, we could just consolidate sideways or see a slight bullish relief, for example, to help reset the RSI, which can give us more room to the downside later on. And as for short-term support and resistance, right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is still running into this level of support, which is sitting at around 26.7k, just below 26.7k. But if we see a confirmed break below that level, then we have the golden pocket sitting in between around 26.1k to 26.3k, acting as support. And below the golden pocket, we have the 78.6% Fibonacci level of support at around 25.6 to 25.7k. And as for short-term resistance, in case we do actually see a bit more of a bounce back to the upside, we should expect some resistance at around 27.1k to 27.2k. But if we see a breakout back above 27.2k, then in that case, we should also expect some more resistance up towards around 27.6 to 27.7k. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, and like Bitcoin, not a lot has changed on this chart right here, because obviously if you're looking at the price action, we're still trading below some of these important previous levels of support, now acting as new resistance. And if you're looking at the daily Ethereum price oscillators, first of all, the daily Ethereum MACD is still showing bearish momentum after the recent bearish cross just a few days ago. But if you're looking at the daily Ethereum RSI, this is now forming a new bullish divergence pattern between the RSI and the price, as I also mentioned in my last video on the channel, because obviously if you're looking at the price in the candle closes, we have seen lower lows now confirm in the daily candle closes, while also forming higher lows in the daily Ethereum RSI. But what we have now seen over the last one day is an actual confirmed lower low in the price in the candle closes, which is what we needed to see in order to help confirm this potential bullish divergence. But as of right now, this bullish divergence is not fully confirmed, because we still need to see at least 1 to 2 candle closes here on the daily time frame confirm in the green, because basically we need to actually cement this higher low in place in the RSI with some sort of bounce back to the upside in the RSI, because otherwise if the price of ETH continues lower and we do not see any confirmed candle closes in the green, then obviously the RSI can continue further to the downside into lower lows. And obviously in that case, if we have lower lows in the RSI and lower lows in the price, there's no bullish divergence there at all. And so once again, all we need to see now is this candle close ideally confirm in the green, and even better if we see another one candle close actually confirm in the green on the daily time frame with a decent bounce. Once again, that can help to confirm the higher low in place in the RSI to actually confirm the new bullish divergence. And in that case, if we do end up seeing those confirmation signals over the next couple of days, then in that case, we'll likely see a bit more of a relief in the short term, either some choppy sideways price action at least, if not a bullish relief, basically reduced bearish momentum over the next 1 to 2 weeks if the bullish divergence actually confirms. But as of right now, it is not yet confirmed. And as for significant support levels here on the daily time frame, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool from the November 2022 low up to this swing high in April 2023. Like I said in my last video on the channel, we still have the 50% retracement level here on the logarithmic settings at around 1510 to 1520. And we are also running into these previous lows at around 1530 to 1540, acting as support. But if we end up seeing a confirmed break below on the daily time frame with daily candle closes below this level of support at around 1510, so basically if we break back below around 1.5k, then in that case we could likely see a move back down towards this golden pocket sitting in between around 1360 to 1.4k. And if you zoom into a smaller time frame, taking a look at the 6-hour ETH to US dollar chart, just recently over the last one day we have seen a bounce from this previous low sitting at around 1530. And so this confirms the fact that we do at least have some short-term support around this previous low, around 1530 once again. And if you're looking at the 6-hour Ethereum RSI, this is still sitting very close to oversold territories after recently entering into oversold territories. And so once again, like I said earlier for Bitcoin, and as I mentioned in my last video on the channel, this means we have somewhat limited room to the downside, at least in the short term, talking about the coming hours, possibly the next 1 to 2 days. And so essentially this means we could see a slight bounce from this support, or potentially just a sideways consolidation in order to help reset the RSI, which can actually give us more room to the downside later later on. But you can still make a lot of money in crypto even if the price is dumping like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then check out these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish, like right now, using artificial intelligence. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.